A strong team needs to be both efficient up front and solid at the back. There are many big teams who have failed to achieve that balance. We have Spurs, whose weak defense is in contrast to their attacking prowess. Then we have Chelsea, whose story has been the opposite. Some other teams are working to be proficient at both ends of the pitch. The challenge for them lies in creating a balance, preparing for offensive, defensive, as well as transition phases. They achieve this by combining creative profiles with hard-working, tough and rough players. These days, United fans are having a great time when they have a player who contributes well to both attack and defense. That man is Carlos Henrique Casemiro, the 5-time Champions League winner. Back in the glory days of the Red Devils, Alex Ferguson has consistently strived to maintain a balanced squad. United were often a combination of great strikers, elusive wingers, solid defenders, and of course, a top-class midfield to glue everything together. Since Fergie's departure, United haven't been able to recreate such a midfield, which has been the reason for their lack of success. Jose Mourinho said at the end of the 17-18 season, "I consider one of the best jobs of my career was to finish second with Man United in the Premier League." That statement was controversial, but Mourinho probably hinted at United's squad's lack of balance. A quality defensive midfielder, Nemanja Matic, was pivotal to United's success by then, so it's quite surprising that only after 5 years did the club decide to bring in another defensive midfielder, Casemiro. There have been countless examples to prove the importance of a quality defensive-minded midfielder. When he was a player, Zinedine Zidane once criticized Florentino Perez's lack of football knowledge when the latter sold Claude Makelele. And it was exactly Makelele who laid the foundation for Chelsea's success in the early 2000s. After Makelele's departure, the Blues' years of glory owed much to the presence of the likes of John Obi Mikel, Michael Essien, Nemanja Matic, and N'Golo Kante. It's quite easy to see how Chelsea has struggled without prime Kante on the pitch. How about other top sides? Man City, they have Rodri. Liverpool, Fabinho. Arsenal, Thomas Partey. Meanwhile, United fans spend years watching Scott McTominay and Fred at the base of their midfield every week. Man United's inconsistent performances were indicative of McTominay and Fred's fluctuating form, so it's quite unfair to criticize Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for having used them so often. He did not have that many choices. When Pogba played as a pivot who focused on ball progression, there was no Kante to protect him. Instead, Solskjaer made do with either McTominay or Fred, neither of whom is a defensive specialist. Pogba did not enjoy doing much defensive work either. The Frenchman saw his best days at United playing alongside Matic, who unfortunately was then too old to play 4 minutes for the whole season. Solskjaer had to use the McFred double pivot, hoping their stamina and will to follow their man would help protect the back. The Norwegian coach expressed his wish to have a Matic replacement, but nothing happened. United's squad became unbalanced. They have lots of stars up front, but their midfield were consistently exposed. And only after many years did they find someone who managed to plug the gaps in their midfield. He is Casemiro. So how did Casemiro contribute to United's recent run of form? First, let's take a look at the team's starting 11. Goalkeeper David De Gea is protected by a back four of Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane, and Diogo Dalot. Casemiro and Christian Eriksen are the double pivot, while the trio of Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, and Antony play behind Anthony Martial. As typical of possession-based sides who use positional play, United used the 3-2-5 formation in possession. The first time they did this was in September last year against Everton. Casemiro did not play, and Erik ten Hag said the Brazilian needed time to get used to his system. At the moment, the manager's influence has been clearly felt, and his players have understood their roles well. The 3-2-5 formation gives them a 3v2 advantage at the back against a 4-4-2, and when the opponent uses a deep 4-5-1 or 5-4-1, United will use the 2-3-5. In either case, Eriksen is the main progressor, while Casemiro has two main tasks. The first is to make himself a passing option when Eriksen is suffocated by opposition players, as in their 3-6 loss to Man City for example. In that match, McTominay failed to help Eriksen. Casemiro would probably have done a much better job as he understands where to position himself to help his team get the ball forward. McTominay did his job well at the start of the season, but he is too inconsistent compared to Casemiro. The Brazilian's second task is to help recover possession in transitions. He will not jump at the opponent quickly, but instead reads the play to position himself well. He could also choose to follow an attacker to cut the passing lane towards him, making the ball carrier hesitate, and thus United players could dispossess him more easily. Casemiro is also very alert to recover loose balls for his team, helping to prevent dangerous attacks. McTominay's failure to do so often leaves the back four exposed. With the safety that Casemiro provides, Eriksen is free to move forward. It is previously mentioned that Ten Hag did not use Casemiro much in the beginning to allow him time to understand his system. What did Ten Hag mean by that? The answer lies in Casemiro roles at Brazil and Real Madrid. At Brazil, Casemiro mainly stays deep to protect the back four. The team's attack relies on the quality of their wingers and Neymar, who is licensed to roam freely. Casemiro's partner will search up and down to provide connection with the front players. Fred can be used in that role at Brazil, but United's system relies on the deep playmaking quality of Eriksen. Thus Fred becomes redundant and we can't see the Casemiro-Fred pivot operate the way they did at their international side. We did see Fred in Eriksen's role when United met Newcastle earlier in the season, but he was no Eriksen. At Real Madrid, besides his defensive duties, Casemiro was instructed to do something similar to what Fred does at Brazil. He would surge forward, at times even join the box to look for goals, while Toni Kroos and Luka Modric stay deeper to dictate tempo. However, at Man United, Fernandes is the one who combines with the forwards and joins the box. Casemiro thus plays a role different to the ones he was assigned to at Real Madrid or Brazil. To combine well with Eriksen and Fernandes, apart from the mentioned duties, Casemiro has to distribute the ball, switch play, and send long balls over the top from deep. This is quite different from McFred, who are much more keen on making sideways or back passes. With McFred on the pitch, Fernandes often had to both progress the ball and then surge forward to feed the forwards, a role similar to Martin Odegaard at Arsenal when Partey is absent. It's possible that when United's midfielders develop a better understanding of each other, Casemiro would be able to showcase his ability to swap positions and join the box the way he did at Madrid. In such situations, Fernandes would play deeper to help with possession, and United would play somewhat similar to what Real Madrid did in the last few years. So will Casemiro help Man United become a title contender? Probably not, as City and Arsenal are so far ahead, and United's squad is still far from complete. However, Casemiro could surely provide solidity to United's midfield, something they haven't had for quite a while. He is someone who can fill United fans with hope.